Charles, let's bring you back then and come on to the Holocaust Memorial.
Thanks, Mike. Yeah, this is something I covered at the end of last year, the very bizarre and somewhat underhand process by which the government is pushing forward plans for a Holocaust Memorial in the Victoria Tower Gardens to the south of the Palace of Westminster. Now, an update on this. First of all, the controversy continues. The architect of the entire scheme, Daniel Libeskind, has suggested that even he thinks that it might be the wrong site for it. Following the report that I gave a couple of months ago, many people wrote in to refer specifically to the Imperial War Museum and the Holocaust galleries that it holds there. So I've been in touch with the Imperial War Museum to find out exactly what it is that they have to say about this. I was interested to know as to whether the government had been in touch, bearing in mind the proximity. And I've heard back from the press office. The Imperial War Museum's position is such. They welcome the UK Holocaust Memorial Foundation's commitment to preserving the memory of the Holocaust with the initiative for a Holocaust Memorial and Learning Centre. We support the commitment to stand up against anti-Semitism, prejudice and hatred, as well as supporting existing organisations across the UK to continue to advocate the importance of learning about the Holocaust for generations to come. Okay, fair enough. They go on to say, we are grateful to the Foundation for generously sharing its plans for the Memorial and Learning Centre, located less than a mile from Imperial War Museum London at Victoria Tower Gardens. We're in discussions with them on the thematic exhibition within the Learning Centre to ensure that the curation and narrative does not replicate IWM's own Holocaust galleries and digitally enabled learning suite. So I think they're being very diplomatic, but the highlighted text there really seems to suggest that the Imperial War Museum have taken the common sense view that to put an almost identical memorial in a completely inappropriate site less than a mile away is complete and utter madness. And that's before we even get into the political ramifications of doing such. The map here just shows the proposed site on the left or the west of the picture and the existing site. They really are that close together. And exactly how a government department would suggest a Holocaust centre is going to be so markedly different to what the Imperial War Museum has as to justify its existence on land that is specifically protected from such developments is certainly a mystery if one follows due process. But this goes further, and really I think the politicisation of war memorials or of the dead, and indeed capitalising on these situations, is something Jeremy Hunt's taken up. He, in his budget speech last week, he has said that as we mourn the tragic loss of life in Israel and Gaza, the Prime Minister reminded us last week of the need to fight extremism and heal divisions. So I start today by remembering the Muslims who died in 2 world wars in the service of freedom and democracy. And it's amazing to see that he has sort of suggested that had the Prime Minister not mentioned it, he wouldn't necessarily have thought of any Muslims that had died in those wars, being nearly 80 years ago. We need a memorial to honour them. So following representations from the Right Honourable Member for Bromsgrove and others, I've decided to allocate £1 million towards the cost of building one. Whatever your faith or colour or class, this country will never forget the sacrifices made for our future. So what's this all about? Why is he doing it? Well, the announcement in the King's speech last year about the Holocaust Memorial seemed very much to capitalise on what happened in Israel and subsequently on October the 7th last year. So it looks like Jeremy Hunt is either seeking to sow division or score political capital, or, as he refers to, flush out people that can be described as extremists. But furthermore, he's also suggesting, which I think is totally disingenuous, that Muslims were fighting as Muslims and not as nationals of the particular country that they were fighting from. And I think this is something that really should be pointed out and sort of stopped. So just to highlight how things have been done to date, or were done at the time, the Commonwealth War Graves Commission, which has responsibility for all the graveyards of soldiers or combatants of all faiths. I just illustrate here. Here is a grave of, or a headstone rather, of a Christian soldier with a cross at the bottom of it. And here we see Muslim and Jewish graves. So to suggest that there's the necessity for something other than this is frankly an overstatement, and as I say, seems to have behind it nothing more than political opportunism and disingenuity.
Okay, thank you, Charles. Now we will